All right, so welcome to class. So, when you receive fabric studies, what and what comes into your mind about this particular topic? What and what do you think you are going to do in this topic? Fabric studies, as the name suggests.
Learning about the
Loudly.
properties of different fabrics.
Properties of different fabrics. Okay, yeah,
Yeah, users.
loudly.
It's a cycle of textiles. It's a cycle of textiles. Their properties and some uses.
Study of textiles, properties, and some uses. If it were an interview, I would have asked you a follow up question. What do you mean by textile? Keep thinking. Yes.
So that examines the properties, production, and use of textiles.
Okay. What is the difference between textile and fabric? It's the same question I asked you, actually. So, what's the difference between textile and fabric? Okay, give me an example of textile since we know what fabric is. Give me examples of textile products.
Textile products,
Yes.
shirts,
That's all. No, 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 no. You are down, 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 down,
He's
down.
not sure what he's saying.
He's only mentioning a part of it. Only one thing. All of them fabric. Uh-huh. No, 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 no. Don't do that. You will waste our time. Please on the light for the sake of. All right. Yes. So please answer my question. Examples of textile products. An example of a textile product are the bags you have in front of you. Leather is textile. If you remember in your previous textile studies or lessons, you were taught fibers and we have natural fibers. Let me just use the word like textile, textile processes or procedures we used to produce those things. The leather, you have the vinyl, the artificial leathers they've been using for bags and those things. Some of them have sheen, they are shining surfaces and all that. So all of them are textile. My bag here is textile. Mine is fabric. Here is textile. The same way we have so many different type of textile. As we are here, we are all sitting on textile. Look at your chairs, the furniture, the type of chair you are sitting on, the fabric behind everything there is textile. These ones have the artificial leathers, and that is also textile. We have agro textile, geotextile. Agro-textile is what happens with agriculture. Now, how do they even call this farming processes? The ones that they use this textile fabrics, those I don't know how to the name of those fabrics. They use it to cover, like make something like a tent. They have a name for that kind of farming. If you can remind me. No, no, it will come. So you see those textile fabrics, I'll call them fabrics or probably materials that are used to cut. Sometimes they use it to cover some of the crops to prevent certain disease and all that, and and they have some watering systems and all those things in place, so they don't have to come and watering the plants one by one all the time. All those things that are used to create those small things are all part of textile, and they are under something called agro textiles. Then we have geotextile. Geotextile, it is large, but I'm going to use one example. When roads are being constructed, it's good. Let me just look for it. I forgot to do that. When roads are being constructed, after the road has been graded, is prepared, graded, and then they are ready to add the chippings and the quota and everything. There is a textile product. It's like a netting, but heavier, not the mesh we use. Okay, but very heavy. Most of them come in black colors like this one. I should have shown the first class too. I forgot. So we see, have you seen they are laying it on the road? So they will lay this on the road. It is to protect the road from erosion, and then even the quota, they want it to stay for a longer period. And it creates a barrier between that and then the ground. So they use this geotextile on the ground before they do the final work, or should I even say the finishing. Okay, pouring the quota and all those things. You can see here, we can see from this picture. So this is part of geotextile as well. So we have the meshes depending on what they are doing. All right, so they lay all these things down like a carpet before they make these ropes. So that is part of geotextile. This is clearer. There's one here like this. We can see these two. Now, all right. So that is about the geotextile part, just something short. Now, for this course, we are mainly going to do dyeing for this fabric studies. We are going to learn about different types of fabric, like you mentioned. We have a lot of fabrics. As for that, a lot. We have the real fashion names, then we have the roadside names for it, whichever, however way. So as we learn along. Well, we will definitely go to town to buy from people who are not also in this our education thing. Okay, so they will have their roadside names for fabrics, but you as fashion or textile student should be able to know the exact fabric and the fibers that are being used. We will not go too much into detail with that, but the names of such fabrics. Okay, then from there we'll start learning about the practical part, the dyeing. How do we dye? What do we use? The tools, the materials, the equipment. We'll go through all those processes. After dyeing batik, what does batik mean? How is it done? What do you do? We'll do all that through the process. And once we are done with the overview, then we move into the practical session. And this is what I do. With the dyeing, I make us do all the tying and everything in class. And then we pick a period Once we enter the dyeing room, we dye that day. We are dyeing everything. And it's not like we come Monday, oh, this week we are having dye, then we dye on Monday, then Tuesday we come and dye again. No, everything will be prepared. Once we say today we are dyeing, it is today, it's ending today. That is it. So please keep in mind, if we start tying, you tie fast because I'll give a date that we will die. Once we die, yakari. Do we get it? Right. So when we look at the course description, you see that I told you it's a continuation of fabric studies one. However, however, this is more practical. Okay. However, this is more practical. So it is aimed at equipping you, the students, with further knowledge in different types of fabrics. That includes laces, velvet, pearls, felts, any fabric that we come across at all. Because in fashion or in textile, we work with any fabric we want to work with, depending on what you are doing, what you are designing. Then it will also enable you to also demonstrate the effective application of color to the purified fabric through various dyeing process. So you know how to apply color to fabric properly. So you don't just wash and it fades. There's something called color fastness. Have you come across it before? Yes, so we need a lot of this fastness issues over here. Then these are the objectives of the course. I'm not going to read it out one by one. They are the goals. So by the end of the lesson, you should be able to do all these listed here. And so the topics to be discussed are under these objectives. By the time we finish, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 objectives. If I ask any question, you should be able to answer or explain yourself. Yeah. Then we know this already. Then the materials that we need for the course. You've received yours already, right? Yes. So whatever you have, if you have any doubts on whatever you have on your list, you can contact me and I will explain into details for you. Now let's start. We'll come back to the materials later. So, identification of fabrics, that's the first one. Before we do anything, we have to identify the already made fabrics that we have. So, fabrics and materials are made from fibers, which we all know. We have done them, I've even I've spoken about them already, briefly. But before it becomes a fabric, it might have gone through several processes, textile processes, either by weaving or knitting or bonding together to create a flexible, strong, and durable sheet of material. Now, somebody will ask, how do we bond fibers and they become a fabric? What fabric is an example of bonding? You know a fabric and you think the process that has been used in producing that fabric is bonding, not weaving. Weaving, interlacing of the warp and the weft thread one over the other one under like that. Knitting, you even know crochet. So how about bonding? How come you yourself never bonded anything to bond fabric? What fabrics are bonded? Let me make it clearer to you. If we are bonding, it means we have a lot of fibers. Then we just matter it together. It's like you've compressed them. And they've become compact and it has become like a fabric. Those fabrics, most of them look fluffy. We have fluffy fabrics, yes, but with what I'm talking about, yeah? Velvet. If you check velvet, There's a weave under it. Velvet, they raised the yarns. One is loose, one is strong. The loose one is what they raise. There's a nap they raise and cut to form the distance on it. But this one is totally bonded. I'm going to give you an example. Do you know the felt fabric? Do you know felt? Felt looks like blanket, but um, let's say suede. Okay, suede. Do you know suede? Men's shoes. There are some suede fabrics or felt that they use for those shoes. Even some bags. There are different types, but the particular ones that are bonded and compressed, they don't have weaves under them. So they are soft. You can stitch them as well. But most of them are used for a lot of crafts, bags, and those things. And come on. I should have written felt so you see it better. Yes.
I was telling Vivian to come. So that
Like I mentioned, some of these fabrics, like I said, most of them are well used when making crafts and those items. So you can see from home decor to industrial and commercial uses. I have a video here, but this is a short video, so let me copy it. What just happened? Paste. Wow. Oh, okay.
Hey guys, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm gonna share with you different types of fabrics with their names. So let's get started.
So we have seen samples. This is just essential short video. We have more other fabrics, and also I have some projections on the fabrics when we move on. So let's look at the types of fabrics. I have really mentioned them already. Okay. So fabrics come in three main categories. Three main categories of fabrics. We have the natural fabrics, we have the synthetic fabrics. So let's look at the natural fabrics. There's a third one. So let's look at the natural fabrics. We won't have to waste too much time on this one since we've done them before. So these ones are derived from natural sources, as we know, plants, animals, and minerals. Minerals examples are an example of a mineral fiber is asbestos. Asbestos. So these fabrics are often preferred because of their softness, breathability, and comfort. Are you confused? You don't even know what asbestos is. I will type it for you to see. Don't worry, it is a class. So it's a class, so I will show you whatever I need to show you. I just pray I get the picture I am looking for. Then you will be able to understand asbestos in the soil. You see somebody is showing you something here. Can we see? It's from the ground. There's another picture I saw last time. I just hope I get it. But we see when these things are taken from their sources, they are processed, just like we process the fibers, the natural fibers, the ones from plants like cotton, the wool from the sheep. They all go through certain processes, okay, for them to become finer. All right, so look at this. Can we see them? So they are from the soil, they are natural. So this is gathered from that part of the earth as a natural element, and then it's been processed and used for so many things. Meanwhile, this class is not about going into details with what the fibers are used for, so we'll stick to this. In another class maybe we'll meet in that. Okay, so we have the synthetic fabrics. They are made from artificial or synthetic fibers. I want to ask a question, but let's get to this. I'll ask a question right now. They are textile manufactured from chemical compounds rather than derived from natural sources like plants, animals, or minerals. They are derived from chemicals. These fabrics are often designed to mimic the properties of natural fabrics. Let me move and come back. Or to provide specific benefits such as durability, water resistance, or stretchiness. It's just like the way we are human beings. And scientists are trying to bring in robots which act like human, if possible look like humans. So now we have natural fibers. So we humans are trying to make synthetic fibers. Why? Because we want varieties of fabric to play different roles. So yes, we will make synthetic fabric. Sometimes the synthetic, before we make the synthetic fabric, sometimes they mix the natural fibers with the synthetic ones, because maybe they wanted some fabrics to have a little bit of absorbency. For example, they want some fabrics to have a little bit of sheen. As for sheen, they can manufacture it artificially for the fabric to shine the way they want it to shine anyway. So sometimes they pick even the natural ones, mix it with the synthetic, and polish it to shine more than how the fiber itself shines, depending on the desire of whoever is designing such a fabric. Maybe the properties the person wants to see in those fabrics. So they also have a first-hand knowledge in textile. If I say first-hand knowledge, it means the person really took textile as a course and studied it to the brain or to its highest point, even the practical part and the chemical part and all that, they can produce such fabrics. Now we have a fabric. Let me remember the name. But we have a fabric that changes patterns. Have you seen those videos? Let me take sequence for example. You know what a sequenced fabric is? Not glitters. I'm talking about sequence. You know sequence. You know sequence. And you know glitters. Hello? Are we sure? Precious, are you sure? Exactly. The glitters is the ones that are tiny, tiny, tiny that you can even spread glue on a fabric and spread it and then it will stick. But the sequence is the one we stitch on. It has a hole in the center. It comes in two designs, flat or concave, a little bit of a hollow side, but always has a hole that you can stitch onto the fabric. So once I show you sequence, you will know. What glitters is. Let me change it. Because sequence is an English word. Have you seen what it's giving me? Sequence is an English word and it means something that follows each other in order. So it's giving me. Yeah, so this is the sequence. I hope we can see. Yeah, that's a sequence. Sequence looks like, it's not looks like, it's actually stitched on, whether by hand or by machine or it is coming from whatever. It looks like it is stitched on. But we have some sequence also that are produced. They look like they've been pressed on, like this type. Okay. So sequence normally comes in that form. So we have some sequence fabric. Now that I know, if I see such videos, I'll send them to you. Some are on Instagram and all that. So I'll see how best I can forward some to you on your pages. So we have the sequence fabric, and the sequence fabric can change so many patterns. When you use it to stitch a dress and you wear, it can change into so many patterns. One, if you have color red, it can turn everything into red. It can turn everything into yellow. It can turn everything into green. It can also turn into red, yellow, green. It's not like the fabric is there when you are walking and then it will be changing colors. Let's assume that you want to go for a dinner party today. You have dinner party from Monday to Friday, one dress. You can wear it and then you will know that it's one dress because it will be changing the patterns for you. So even if you choose red, yellow, and green for a day, even that red, yellow, and green can change patterns. Today, if you like, it can be in vertical lines. If you like, it can be in horizontal lines. If you like, you understand me. Yeah, so it is for sustainability of fashion products. Now we are looking at fashion sustainability, how we can sustain fashion for a longer period of time. That is what we are looking at now. And then, so this fabric now is even used in flags. Now we have all the adverts on Instagram. Stop looking at, okay, for the sake of the class. So for the sake of the class. So they've made them in forms of flags. When you move them to the right, they'll change color, move them to the left, up and down, they'll be changing. That is what I'll show you some of the videos, and then you understand what I'm talking about, synthetic fibers. Okay. Now, what is the difference between artificial and synthetic? If you say something is artificial and then you say something is synthetic, What's the difference? They are they are the same. Okay. Go and look it up next week. You come and we'll discuss it. If they are the same or there's something small. Okay. So we will look at types of fabric. Please, if you realize we are not reading every content, I'm only explaining. So with the synthetic that we just did, some common examples of synthetic fabrics are nylon, polyester. If you check nylon, you see that it is a blend of two fibers. One is natural. Polyester, so these ones you should have done it. You are supposed to do it semester one and semester two. What I'm talking about, the blends of those things, fabrics. At least the fabrics that we normally learn from the first years, nylon, polyester, cotton, wool, what else? Rayon sometimes come in. Those ones are we are very used to those fibers, okay, or fabrics. Now, the third type of fabric we have is blended fabrics. Okay, they are textile that combine two or more different types of fibers. It can be two or more. We blend them, typically natural and synthetic. So when we blend fabric, we are using one natural and then one synthetic. The synthetic one is synthetic, it's artificial. It is produced by humans, let me put it that way, through the usage of chemicals. So they can induce whatever properties they want. If they want it to be non-absorbent, it will be done. If they want it to have a bit of sheen, they will do it. Okay, so that is synthetic completely. But blended uses different types of fibers. It could be two types of natural fibers or whichever way, depending on what the textile designer wants to do. So, blending can help to improve the durability, stretch, and moisture wicking abilities of fabric, as well to reduce cost. What is meant by moisture wicking? We will look at it in the next slide. If it's not there, I'll explain it to you, but it is there. So these are the three main fabric types that we have. Every fabric that we have falls under these three categories. No matter the names we are giving it, it is either a natural fabric or fiber fabric, synthetic, or blended. They fall under one. Just like we humans, you are either black and white. Even if you have pink eyes, you are black, you are black. All right. So, what is a moisture wicking fabric? Or better still, what does a moisture wicking fabric do? What it does is what it is. True or false? If fufu pounding machine pounds fufu, what is it? It pounds fufu. All right. So, the moisture wicking fabric is a fabric that is able to quickly move sweat or moisture to the surface of the fabric. That is one. And at the same time, drying it rapidly so your sweat or that moisture doesn't saturate the fabric. It is not only so, I'm using moisture in addition because it could be rain that had beaten you. What if you had stitched the fabric and were wearing it? So, and then you are walking, you don't know it's going to rain. Over here, the sun shines and then the rain just pops out like that. And you are beaten by the rain. The fabric has absorbed moisture. So, if the fabric is not a moisture wicking fabric, it will be difficult for a fabric to dry at that time that you're even walking around. So, it has to have the ability to first transfer that moisture or sweat to the surface. That is one job. or property of that fabric. And then the second one is for it to be able to dry quickly. That's why it's a rapidly. So any fabric that's able to do that rapidly is a moisture wicking fabric. Are we okay? Right. Then some common examples of blended fabrics are nylon, polyester and cotton, nylon wool, polyester wool, cotton lycra. There's a lot. I just brought some samples for us to have an idea. We are not deliberating too much on fibers and things like that at this stage. Okay. So we move on. But before we move on, do you have anything to say? Do you have anything to say? What we have learned so far? Anything? Any questions? Should we continue? Right, so common kinds of fabrics. I brought these fabrics because we fashion people, we like shining, especially we the ladies. We always want to be blinking here and there for whatsoever reasons. It's up to us. Me, I like shining. I don't know why. I don't know. I just know that I like shining. What annoys me is it's okay. So we have common kinds of fabrics. You can see the nylon spandex. Sometimes, even most of these pictures are clear. If the thing is stretchy, you can see that this thing is stretchy. But it is better when you feel it. When you go to the fabric shops, you'll be able to feel some of these. Some of them too, we have used them over time, so you know how it feels. So let's look at the first one, which is the nylon spandex. Then we have the Sari wet look coated stretch fabric. This fabric, you have seen it before, right? The second one, this coated one. Most of them tend to peel over time. It shines. And it stretches. And when you use it and maybe it's affected by heat, over time it's going to be peeling on top. And usually the under is black, usually, but it can also be another color. Maybe if it is yellow, the lighter version of yellow under. That's how it behaves. It's a very beautiful fabric, but when it starts peeling, it's not pleasant, and it stretches. I've used some to stitch my pillow cushions in the couch. It was so nice. It was gold until they started peeling. I said, Lord, and I took them off. So we have those ones also. But I feel if you want to use those fabrics for garments, because it's not very, very, our weather here is hot. So then we are going to be using it for occasional wear, like, or let me say, I want to use another term. Maybe we have a dancer who is going to perform on stage, or a drama troupe, or a concert, or an artist who is looking for some extravagant dress to wear, one time heat dress, a dress he or she knows that I may not be able to be wearing around. Yes, you can use those things for such, events. All right, but if you want to use it for a dress that you want to go back to every time and be wearing, the heat here, even if you fold it into your trunk, when you go and pick it, when you fold it, when you want to remove it, it matters together. It attached to each other like glue. Even that process of you pulling it, you can peel it off. Okay, by now I'm sure you have seen the fabric I'm talking about. Then we have the Piet polyester also. Then we have the nylon sari finish, the nylon taffeta. Taffeta, there we have a lot. So then we have the silk satin. We have so many types of satin. We have the silk satin. They are very silky. Even when you put it on this table and the fabric is more than the table, it will just slip and fall unless you have a bulk of it on your table. They are lighter than the bridal satin and the this thing. What's the other one? Sorry, the paradise. Yes, and those other ones. There's something here. So you see the nylon taffeta. Taffeta does not absorb water. It will just be floating on the water. So if you are washing it, cry, you are tormenting yourself. But we do something like washing anyway. And so you can see it's being used into this jar because one, even with rainfalls, it can help in making of raincoats and other things. Now, we have the Beaufort Duchess fabric. We have Duchess. The Duchess that, as for us in our country, once somebody make, oh yeah, Duchess is also good for bridal. We all go for Duchess. As for fashion students, once you say, oh, as for now, dear, it is Duchess. So anybody, oh, I want to use Duchess, 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 Duchess. And if you don't take time, your fashion show, everybody is using Duchess. The same thing when scuba came. The problem we had, everybody said, oh, I'll use scuba, 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 scuba. Hey, the whole batch cannot use scuba. Change you, and so we only allowed you to use scuba per your designs. Your designs will make us agree on your scuba. Yes, if you don't use scuba, you can achieve the same design you want with another fabric. Then we'll change yours for you because the scuba was becoming too much. Then scuba came first in plain. Then after some time, then it started coming with patterns, and then I don't know what is going to happen next. So scuba fabric is the next one. We all know scuba. We have the woolen fabrics. Woolen fabrics, there's a large variety of woolen fabrics depending on what you want to sew. And some are breathable. They are more porous than others. Okay, like this one, like this. Where if you wear something like this, depending on how thick it is, if it is cold and you don't take time, cold will catch you. Some are light, some are heavy, some depending on what you want to do. Then we have the bridal satin, which we all know. We have the brocade. I'm sure we know brocade, right? So let me not talk. Then we have the silk itself. Silk is like, you know, here, this duku, the hair gear or fabric. Most or some of them are in proper silk. The light weighted ones, they are in proper. Look at the fabric properly. Yeah, they are in proper silk. You will find silk in that area. So if you want to know silk, go and take your mother's duku, the old ladies odasobo, that one. And then we have the crepe back satin. This is another type of satin. We have the jacquard. What's the difference between brocade and jacquard? There is a difference, but then now they are looking alike. But there used to be a difference, actually. What is the difference between the jacquard and the brocade? Uh-huh. Yes. And what about the motives? What do you see? Good. The jacquard used to have the geometric patterns, but now they are blending the floral and the geometric in jacquard fabric. And then, so right now, to recognize a jacquard from brocade, I am usually, what I am seeing on the market is jacquard is having a lot of colors, variety of colors in the fabric than brocade. At first, it was floral and this leafy things for brocade. Then we have the geometric shapes and all those things as motifs for the jacquard. But now the jacquard too, they are trying to add this flora and fauna to the jacquard as well. But I've realized that the colors are the ones making the differences between the two. Then we have chiffon. Chiffon, we know we have the light one and the heavy one. Okay. In any case, I prefer the heavy one. Because if you sew flare and the air blows. Yeah. Right. So any question at this point? Any questions at this point? Any questions? And there are so many different types of fabrics. It's not only the ones I have shown to you. So you've seen the way I've made my fabrics. Have you seen it? Have you saw? So we are going out to search for different fabrics. You use the internet for the first step. Okay. Use the internet for the first step, like I've done right now. So you are going to arrange them. You are going to do about how many have I done? 6, 12. Mine is 12. No, it's not 12. 13, 14, 15. I've done 15. So you will do 20. And then you spread them on your. You are going to print it. Okay. Please name it like I have done. Present it nicely for me. Don't just go and put one fabric on one paper and come here. I don't want that. And it is going to be in colored, so don't do that. Otherwise, you pay more. It also doesn't mean you put all the 20 on one sheet for me. I beg you. So the 20, let it be an even number. Divide it. If you are going to divide it 5, 5, 5, it's fine. However, you divide it for me to have something meaningful, you do it. Please, you add your name, your index, write today's date, as whatever information that we need, your school, the cost code, everything, write it on it, and get those fabrics for me like that, and bring them to me. Your textile, okay, so any questions? Any questions? No question? Okay. Then in the absence of questions, we'll end our lesson for today. Next week, we will learn about the fabric identification methods. I'm sure this one, we have done something previously. Don't worry, next week we'll discuss it. If you have done nothing like that, or you have done, I'll know. And then we'll continue from there. Okay? So we'll end our lesson here and continue when we meet.